Former Irish referee chief Owen Doyle has welcomed the decision to avoid further law changes following World Rugby's recent Shape of the Game summit, but he has also sounded a clear warning. While administrators in London opted for stability over experimentation, Doyle believes at least one global trial still poses a serious problem, and he predicts that flashpoints such as red cards and bomb squad benches will inevitably return to the agenda. In short, rugby may have pressed pause, but the debate is far from over. Stability after a storm the Shape of the Game summit brought together leading unions and administrators amid growing philosophical tension within the sport. Some nations have advocated for increased ball-in-play time and faster spectacle. Others have pushed to protect rugby's traditional pillars, such as the scrum, maul, and set piece. Following the meeting, World Rugby released a statement claiming universal agreement on the way forward. Among those publicly expressing satisfaction was Springboks director of rugby Rassie Erasmus, who spoke to media in Cape Town. Erasmus acknowledged that national interests were evident in discussions, but insisted conversations ultimately returned to a central question: what is best for rugby as a whole? Doyle, writing in the Irish Times, admitted he would have relished the opportunity to observe proceedings firsthand, to be a fly on the wall in London as competing visions clashed. Yet from the outside, he concluded that the final outcome was reassuring. New law trials were introduced. No sweeping alterations were imposed. For Doyle, that alone represented a victory. The sport has experienced a period of frequent experimentation in recent years. Adjustments to breakdown interpretation, goal line dropouts, 50:22 kicks, and red card protocols have reshaped tactical approaches at elite level. While innovation is not inherently negative, Doyle believes constant tinkering risks destabilizing the game's fundamental identity. In his view, a moment of consolidation is welcome. The skewed Lineout trial. A lingering concern despite his broadly positive reaction, Doyle has identified one trial he believes should not become permanent: the law surrounding skewed Lineout throws. Under the current global trial, a throw that is not perfectly straight will not be penalized provided two conditions are met. 1. The opposition does not contest the throw with a jumper. 2. The ball travels beyond the 5-meter line, but does not go past the 15-meter line. At first glance, this seems pragmatic. If the defending team declines to compete, why halt play over marginal technicalities? However, Doyle argues that the unintended consequences of the trial create imbalance. His primary concern is the maul. He describes a scenario increasingly visible at professional level. As the ball is thrown, 3 or 4 attacking players peel off early from the lineout. Binding together, they immediately turn and latch onto their jumper as he lands. The maul forms and surges forward with pre-assembled momentum. Technically, Doyle contends, this formation can be illegal because players are not permitted to leave the lineout until it has concluded. Yet under current interpretations, this movement often goes unpunished. The result? A powerful attacking weapon that is exceptionally difficult to defend. Why permitting a crooked throw in these circumstances and allowing early movement to go unchecked? Doyle argues the throwing team receives a disproportionate advantage. Defensive structures are compromised before the contest truly begins. He has urged unions to vote against full ratification of the trial when it comes before World Rugby's June meeting. A fix without a law change. Importantly, Doyle does not believe radical reform is required to solve the issue. His proposed solution is simple: enforce the existing law. If referees strictly apply the prohibition on players leaving the line out before it ends, the imbalance disappears. The maul cannot be preloaded. Defenders regain a fair opportunity to contest and disrupt. In Doyle's eyes, allowing the current practice to continue unchecked effectively constitutes an unacknowledged law change, one that has neither been formally proposed nor properly trialed. That, he suggests, undermines the integrity of the lawmaking process. His stance reflects a broader principle. Alterations to rugby's framework should be deliberate and transparent, not incremental side effects of relaxed enforcement. Fault lines. Beneath the surface, although World Rugby described the summit's outcome as universally agreed, Reports suggested underlying factionalism. Nations approach discussions with differing priorities shaped by playing style, competitive advantage, and domestic pressures. The tension mirrors previous debates around tempo versus set-piece dominance. Some unions favor accelerating the spectacle, reducing stoppages, and maximizing continuous action. Others insist the scrum, lineout, and maul are intrinsic features that differentiate rugby from other codes and must not be diluted. Erasmus himself acknowledged that self-interest inevitably surfaces in such gatherings. Yet he maintained that the ultimate objective remained collective benefit. Doyle, meanwhile, interprets the decision to halt further trials as a sign that caution prevailed over division, at least for now. Red cards. A debate far from settled. One issue that remains contentious is the red card protocol. The 20-minute red card, allowing a team to replace a dismissed player after 20 minutes while the offending player takes no further part, has been introduced in several competitions and is now embedded in aspects of the global game. However, debate continues regarding the permanent, straight red card, the traditional sanction that leaves a team shorthanded for the remainder of the match. France, in particular, has been vocal about retaining the full red card for serious foul play. Advocates argue that reducing its severity risks weakening player welfare protections and deterrence. Doyle predicts this subject will resurface at future meetings. While the 20-minute red is currently part of the landscape, he suggests consensus is incomplete. Further refinement, or renewed argument, appears inevitable. The bomb squad and bench splits another flashpoint. Doyle expects to re-emerge concerns substitutes and bench composition. The so-called bomb squad strategy, most famously associated with the Springboks, involves deploying a heavy forward bench to introduce fresh power late in matches. 7-for-1, 7-to-1, splits, 7 forwards, 1 back, have provoked criticism from those who believe they distort the game's balance. Yet at the summit, Doyle notes this subject did not even warrant formal discussion. For some, that omission is surprising. The tactical use of replacements has dramatically evolved over the professional era, blurring the line between starting 15 and finishers. Conditioning levels and impact substitutions can transform contests. Doyle believes this topic will not disappear quietly. As with red cards, he anticipates further debate. The charter has compassed despite these unresolved questions. Doyle concludes with guarded optimism. He is grateful that no immediate wave of new trials has been unleashed. Stability, he argues, allows players, coaches, and officials to operate within a consistent framework. Crucially, he emphasizes that any future law proposals must align with rugby's foundational charter, the principles that define its identity and spirit. In his view, law changes should serve the charter, not reshape it. This philosophy reflects a conservative but not reactionary stance. Doyle does not oppose evolution. Rather, he advocates measured, principle-driven reform. At a moment of reflection, the shape of the game summit may ultimately be remembered less for dramatic announcements and more for restraint. In an era when sports often chase novelty and broadcast metrics, rugby's decision to consolidate rather than revolutionize is significant. The game's administrators appear to have recognized that constant experimentation risks alienating players and supporters alike. Yet the quiet outcome does not signal unanimity. Skewed lineouts, red card duration, bench composition. These issues linger beneath the surface. National perspectives differ. Competitive incentives vary. Philosophical divides endure. Doyle's intervention serves as both endorsement and caution. Yes, rugby should be grateful for continuity. Yes, the charter has been reinforced. But vigilance remains necessary. Subtle shifts in interpretation can carry consequences as profound as formal amendments. For now, the whistle remains silent on further changes. But as history suggests, rugby's law book is never truly closed.